Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Doing online shows.
For much longer than I would have liked.
Suit yourself. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. From their tidied up offices.
And then I see the disinfectant.
You do not want to know what happened in there before. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Answering the questions from
you, the people of this country.
If you email them in comics@somenews.co.uk or tweet at Mr. Stephen Allen or at Erich McElroy. In Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Starting soon.
In a minute. 1 minute.
Well, maybe a bit longer than a minute, but soon. Soon. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. The web show we started because we were out of work.
And it is still true.
All right, don't rub it in. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Using their expertise to solve problems.
You're going to have to use medical doctors with.
Nope, just two comedians talking rubbish out of their face holes. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Lockdown 2020, giving Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy bigger compassion, time to write.
And guts.
Hell yeah.
You've shown and are continuing to show.
Only when we stand up on webcam. Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon.
Sounds interesting.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems, the Midnight Special. I'm Stephen Allen.
I'm Erich McElroy. Hello.
Hello. So what this is
Twice a week, we do a show where we take your problems, we look at the problems in the news, we solve them. We don't really solve them, but, give us a flipping break here. It's artistic license in the title, as if we could solve the problems that other people don't. But we talk about the problems, and we try and make some jokes about them. In tonight's show, we also really get into some of the structure of jokes, because I did like a masterclass on the pullback reveal. I over-explained it deliberately. That's not going to make anyone watch, but
but you did. I mean, even I was getting worried about your explanation, and I was like, "What is he doing?" And then you did tell a joke. Yeah. So
it's a joke about a joke. So there's a meta.
We guarantee if you watch the show, which is coming up in just a few minutes, there is one joke.
Yeah, I'd say at least one joke.
From
but...
BBC and other things.
You can. But that's not what we're thinking about right now. It's late. You're still awake. You got the internet. Watch some show. It's just like a rerun of what of our show from tonight. So you can see all of the topical analysis and all that lark. Plus you get us describing it first. Yeah. And actually, because the good thing is we're post-show, but you're pre-show. We can talk about our feelings about it. How did you feel that it went?
I think it was good. I think we had a lovely banter with the people that were watching, which we won't be able to have with you because it's recorded. But I was quite pleased with. I really enjoyed your Pret bit. I thought that was quite nice. And I quite enjoyed my deep dive into the state of America and masks. I saw some things. There's a guy in there. I don't want to give too much away.
If you do the accent now, no one will know why you're doing it.
Yeah, no one will know I'm doing it. But if you watch anything in the show, watch the first two segments because they're the best one.
It just goes. There are so many weird things happening on the internet. That guy you found was on YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's bizarre that YouTube and Facebook are starting to act more like they are broadcasters than just a message board. They are taking down people who shouldn't be broadcasting the things they're broadcasting, and you just wonder. Who lets someone like that broadcast for their own safety? Should he be allowed to just be? I don't know. I felt we watched it, we laughed, but I felt like I should, make a phone call and try and get the guy saved. I feel we should stick around and at the end of the tonight's show say, if you've been affected by any of the issues seen in tonight's show, then Google and try and find help.
Yeah. Do you remember? Because there is so much weird stuff on YouTube and things that you can watch. Did you have public access television in the UK before the internet? So do you know what public access TV was?
Yeah, but mainly from the film Wayne's World.
Yeah, well, I can't even remember that bit of Wayne's World, but basically there were a few dedicated channels where basically they had a studio somewhere. It was set up by public funds, and anyone could book studio time, and you could go in and you could broadcast a show. And there was a woman, and this would have been in the mid to early 90s, and she would go into public access TV in Seattle, and she would often, not always, strip off all of her clothes and just pour paint on her body. And then do sort of spoken word and poetry. And it was, it's basically what 95% of YouTube is now. And if this show doesn't start to get more popular, Steve and I will start doing. So please spread the word. Share the show.
Yeah, no one wants to see that.
But it was before that was, now you think, what I've described to you, you're like, Eric, what are you talking about? I got pictures like that on my phone. But, in the 90s, it was quite remarkable. And there were no restrictions on it.
Good time.
So, yeah, that's the one thing, too. If you are going to watch the show, please do share it. Hit the share button on Facebook so we can spread the word about it because we have a lot of fun making it. And the people who watch it seem to have a lot of fun watching it. So feel free to share it and let people know about it. That's always nice.
All right, let's get stuck in with tonight's episode of Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems. Enjoy!
Whee!
Hello, and welcome to Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Welcome to the show. This is the twice-weekly presentation by myself and Mr. Steve, where we, as comics in quarantine, solve problems. Mm-hmm. You can see what we did there with the title. We really went to explain it there. But basically, it's where myself and Steve, we will cover the day's news. We will cover all the news that is fit to be covered or uncovered, but not too far uncovered. It's not quite a family show, but it's close enough.
Nowhere near a family show.
Nowhere near a family show. Never mind. Kids
We've seen
go to
some
bed.
of the swear words in today's.
It depends. If you've got a family like Trump's, this might be appropriate, based on what we're learning from the hints of his niece's book. But anyway, we solve the problems. If you want to send them to us, and we cover the news, and that's basically how the shizzle goes. You can comment during the show as it happens. You can donate to the show as it happens as well. You can buy us a drink. The link's down there. And Steve is going to kick us off with some amazing breaking news.
It's been a big week for me in many ways. Not only for people who've been watching previous episodes, the beard's been growing nicely. Previously, I've done a joke about having a hair clip in it and it sticks out and looks obvious. Now the beard is so big, the hair clip wasn't even visible all along. That's how bad things are getting.
That's like magic.
It's amazing.
I mean, if the comedy thing doesn't kick off, you could start doing magic, Steve. You could just hide stuff in your beard.
Thank you for all the people voting on what the next beard should be on the way down as well. So it's going to be a big week for me. But I'm still reeling from the news that caught me out. And this is about Pret. 30 of the stores could well be closing. They're not going to reopen them. It's putting jobs at risk. So much to cover here because I've got an odd relationship with Pret. And to tell you this story, we need to go right back to the beginning. And that beginning is explaining some of the features of how comedy works. Eric will tell you, because he's worked with me for long enough, I love a joke where the punchline is revealing a situation that was hidden previously.
Okay, yes, you do.
He spots these all the time. In fact, I was speaking to someone on the phone on the weekend describing it as you have a presumed context which you don't correct. You then add greater detail about the content, then reveal the context, which then makes you reconsider the content you just heard with hilarious consequences. And the guy on the phone said, that's all very well, but are you going to order a pizza or not? Classic example of what I'm talking about. So,
see how we did that?
Years ago,
masterful.
That was pretty good. I might take that as a clip. Surely I could lecture. Years ago, I always enjoy a punchline that is, and that's why I got banned from wherever, right? That kind of punchline. There was a thing in the news about the naked diet. The theory was that if you eat when naked, because you get to see yourself, you don't eat as much, and it's a good reminder of the things that stop you from wanting to eat. So I did a tweet about that and said, look, I did the naked diet. It did help me lose weight, but it also got me banned from Pret.
Classic Steve.
Thank you. A few weeks later, Pret get in touch and ask for my address because they want to send me some press pack or something, right? And then genuinely, and here's a picture of it, what actually arrived was a card that included a gift card and a card saying, hi, Stephen, please don't eat naked in our shops. Have a very Merry Christmas. Love from Pret.
Nice.
Well played, Pret. Well played. The gift card also was £5. And I've got to be honest, £5 in Pret basically buys you one sandwich. I don't want to show my working class roots too much, but every time I'm in there, it's like £5 for a sandwich. We're having a flipping laugh, mate. So it's been an interesting week because, I've got this affinity with them, but then all of a sudden some of their shops are at risk. And is it going to be a problem if we lose shops? Because there's a lot of Prets. Well, to find out more, I'm joined by an expert who can help us out. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
So it's just Prets, not a big problem, yeah?
This is actually quite serious. The current situation in London is that if you sit in a Pret-a-Manger, you can look out of the windows and see the two nearest Prets-a-Manger.
Yeah, so there are too many of them.
Not at all. No, this is deliberate. By measuring the angle between the two Pret-a-Manger, one can use rudimentary mathematics to calculate the size of London, very much like the trig points that can be found across the British Isles. It is the Pret-a-Manger that are used to calculate the size of London. And if we lose 30% of the Prets, do you know what that means, Steve?
We won't know how big London is?
No, we'll just use the Starbucks instead. But it means we have to walk further.
Our thoughts are with you at this difficult time. Interesting expert that he's managed to grow a grey moustache over a grey and ginger beard.
And how long did it take for that expert to appear in the show today, Steve?
Might have taken most of my prep time for today's show just to make that bit. As you'll tell later in the show, when there really should be some other fake things that I've filmed, and I have not, because I did not get around to it because I did that.
It was good, though. That was good. Can you do me one with, like, bunny ears? If I do, like...
Yeah.
The Easter bunny bit?
We'll get around to that. If we're still doing this show in Easter, we will definitely be doing that sketch.
We won't be doing anything else, that's for sure.
So look, Pret, are you going to miss Pret? Do you go to Pret a lot?
I do like in the morning. I like their egg and bacon rolls, which they only serve in the morning, and they're quite good. And at the airport, you can get the ones that are double long, because apparently when you're out at Pret, just like normally, you can only have the little one, but when you're at the airport, you need the big one. So explain that to me, Pret. Where's my 5 pounds?
Yeah. And then I fell out with Pret. So we've got another reason for me to not be getting on with them. They were famously in the news where they give coffees away to attractive people.
Yep.
And I have ranted about this many a time. No, it is exactly what is wrong with society. Attractive people already have enough things going for them. Firstly, they're attractive. Secondly, people are just going to give them free stuff anyway because they're attractive. And I still to this day say, Pret, here's what you did wrong. You should be giving away drinks to unattractive people because it'd cheer me up. If I walked in a Pret with this face, which is, mainly hidden these days, but I went in there and then I got given a coffee, I'd be like, that person thinks I'm ugly, but I'm a little bit happier. All it would require is the smallest of change from that to you change one letter, boom.
Nice.
And I'd go in Pretaminga. I would. It would be my go-to place.
Was that the other half of your day?
That was that sign. Yeah. But let's go back to the Pretaminga. So look at the CGI on that. Look at that.
That is incredible.
Look at that. Look at that.
You brand it.
But then the other thing, before we go away, look, it is sad that we'll be losing them. How are we going to cope? Because you might not be able to get your Pret sandwich. And a lot of people said, look, Steve, you do this regular feature on your highly viewed and critically acclaimed streaming show with Eric McElroy. You do Steve's Kitchen. We've been in my kitchen a few times. People want to know, can I help you make a Pret sandwich at home? Yes, I flipping can. Hi, guys. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make that Pret-style sandwich in your own home. Let's crack on. Take 2 slices of bread. I'm using wholemeal because I enjoy doing a poo. You will want to put quite a lot of butter on it because, well, I'm afraid that's what makes it taste good. I'm making a ham sandwich, so we're going to need plenty of sliced ham. Be quite liberal with it. Chop some tomatoes. I do think that when you're using tomato, the key to make the flavour really pop is to season. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. For the green part, you could go for lettuce, but today I'm going for a rocket. You want to go authentic Pret, you've got to do the triangular cut. That's how they do it. And there we have it. A Pret style sandwich. Now you might be thinking, Steve, that's just a normal sandwich. To make it officially feel like you're in Pret, just take £4, fucking bin it. That's how you do it.
Nice. Where'd you find a Pret sandwich for £4?
Do you know why? Do you know why that video is me throwing £4 away and not 5? You can probably guess, can't you?
You haven't got £5.
I didn't have £5 in the house.
Remember when we used to be cash rich? We used to work in an industry that still paid cash. Remember that? We used to work.
Yeah, God, I remember work. Right, so thanks for some of the comments coming in on this. Mark Randall, he's watching this, says, good evening, chaps. Sharon says, OMG. I think that was for the big hair reveal on the beard.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty impressive.
Then Beat goes on, says, smooth, Steve. Very smooth. I think it was the reveal.
Yeah.
Mark says, eating naked at Subway is a bad idea. Seeing all of those footlongs. Nice.
Oh, tricky.
Eamon says, what have I walked into? It's very difficult to explain what this show is. Very difficult.
Yeah, the title is, well, it's kind of descriptive, but anyway.
And then Kay Blaker just says hi. Coming at you. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to send any messages, you can send wherever you're watching this. You should be able to message it and get it through to us. If you're worried it's not got through to us, track us down on Twitter, at Mr. Stephen Allen, at Eric McElroy. Send us a message that way. And if you're enjoying it and you'd think you'd like to buy us a drink, the link is down there below.
Is there, and we very much appreciate anything you can throw us because it gives us hope during these difficult times. Speaking of difficult times, my home country. Oh, Steve. I mean, the reason why I'm so glum about the prospects of us going back to live gigs is I'm watching what's happened in America, who are a few weeks ahead of us in opening things up. You can see from this headline that we've got from Florida, where they opened up the pubs, that they are starting to go back the other direction. They're closing the restaurants, the gyms, because of a huge spike in cases. So it doesn't give me much hope seeing what happened after this weekend. They still haven't technically allowed live gigs yet, but I just don't know if it's going to happen, right? But at the same time, that looks like bad news. But America's a big country, isn't it? There's lots going on in America. There's lots of different levels of the curve and all of that kind of thing. So at the same time I saw this lockdown happening, I also saw this headline today that Florida schools are going to reopen in August. So that must be good news, right? I mean, that must mean that there's progress, except when you take those two stories, you realize they were on the same front page today of the Miami Herald. They're closing the restaurants and opening the schools. That doesn't make any sense. Like, how are those two things? So you just have to think, it makes you wonder about America in general, which I know we do a lot on here, Steve.
Yeah.
And I think, how could America be in this much of a mess? And then I remember my people, and I find clips like this
Violation
online.
my fucking constitutional rights and my civil rights.
Excuse
I've
me?
already fucking warned you. Fucking expect it. I'm filing a fucking class action lawsuit. You can take your fake fucking global terroristic false flag attack, shove it up your motherfucking ass. You're terrorists.
The doctor's note where I don't have to wear one. I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay, can we shop for you?
So what does that look like? I have private things I want to get that maybe I don't want you to see.
So much research that says that we actually are in danger of having this mask. I'm breathing my own CO2.
I mean, to be fair, I can't smell her CO2. It could be, it's like, that's just a small collection of the fucking idiots that we're dealing with, Steve.
Can you say one of my favorite bits in there is when the guy said, I'm filing a class action.
Yeah.
I think you can't do that on your own. That's the definition of a class action, mate.
I think the voices are there, and they're with him. We can't wear the mask. Why can't we wear the mask? I don't know. We might breathe our own breath. Having a doctor's note, that's always helpful. That always worked for getting out of trouble when you're in school.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. And then, the lady who's worried about buying the privates. I don't know what kind of thing. I don't know what kind of store she was going into.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a what's the one where they buy the pretty ladies things?
What are you talking about? What one where
Sexy.
you do what?
Where you buy the lingerie, little Victoria's Secrets, maybe. I don't know.
Asda lingerie section.
Although you can buy a vibrator at Sainsbury's, but that's because our Sainsbury's is a mega store.
It's an electric toothbrush, Eric.
Is that all you need?
That's what it was. Just plug the replacement heads on it. Good God.
No wonder I still got that thing stuck in here. Anyway, that's not where I planned on taking this bit. There we go. Now, when I watch all those people, I am like, oh my God, no wonder America. I mean, these people, maybe they need to go back to school. That's what it's for. But I did do a deep dive into finding examples of people that won't wear masks. And I did find this beautiful, beautiful gem.
Hello, boys and girls. It's your boy Vinny here. Today, I'm here to talk about a challenge. You know what it's called? It's called Take the Fucking Mask Off Challenge. That's what it's called. Because you know why? Fucking thing ain't doing nothing for you. You're gonna spend fucking $10 on some loincloth on your fucking face. I mean, honestly, what the fuck does it fucking matter?
What the fuck? What the fuck does it fucking matter?
Get
What
outta
does it
here.
fuck? Hey, what are you doing? Huh? What the fuck does it matter? Oh my God.
Is that what Adam Sandler's doing these days?
I don't know if he's a real. I mean, if he's a comedian, I think he's real because the guy he had 45 followers or subscriptions on YouTube, which isn't bad, and about half dozen videos, and they were all hilarious. His views on Star Wars are worth looking up alone. He was not happy with some of the choices that they made in the last film. Let me tell you that. That's not a fucking Jedi. What am I talking about here? So, whilst he is dumb as fuck, it does give me hope. I don't know why.
Hope of what?
I don't know. What the fuck? Huh?
I love it at the start when he had the mask on, which was clearly just like a napkin over his face.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to do like a really bad ghost impression. Basically, it's like a ghost from Brooklyn. Like, hey, I'm haunting in here. I'm ghosting all over the place. Wait, I come over there and knock the ghost out of your hand.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
My kind of people. Right, some messages coming through. Colin says, being from Seattle, Eric, do you stay faithful to Starbucks or have you defected to Aldi own brand coffee?
I have been here a long time, and I have kind of gone off the Starbucks. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Cafe Nero guy these days.
Really?
Partly because their little card that you get the stamps on is better value for money. So I go where the money is. But yes.
Wow.
But I was drinking. I've been to the original Starbucks. I've prayed at the Great Bean. I've been there.
Prayed at the Great Bean. Don't Google that. It's truth. So look, Eric, do you think what Tom? Hang on. Do you think what Tom Hanks has said will make some Americans wear masks?
I don't know what Tom Hanks has said, so I'll have to
He
look
said,
at that. I know
Wilson. That might have been a different thing.
Sorry, I immediately thought of Tom Cruise because he's done a fake "I'm running for president" video, which if you haven't seen it, it's actually quite funny, even though he's a Scientologist quack. But allegedly, he's also very litigious. I love Scientology, Tom. But yeah, I mean, if Tom Hanks says it, I mean, that's it. That's the voice of God right there. Do it.
Yeah. Let's have a look what else we've got going on here. Guys, what do you think of the breaking news that the president of Brazil has tested positive for COVID? What's the Portuguese for karma? Yeah, he's the strong man, isn't he? He once described it as a little flu. He said coronavirus is a little flu. And to prove how manly he wasn't wearing a mask, very much like your fellow Americans. And then he went shaking hands and meeting people who've got coronavirus. So isn't it strange that apparently, I think what we've learned from this is that you can't ward off coronavirus by being dismissive of it. I'm hoping that sarcasm works. Maybe that'll get rid of it. I'm pretty good at that.
That'd be a great vaccine, wouldn't it? Yeah. Like I'll get sick.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
If you got the vaccine, I've already taken that. Actually, there was a survey that says 33% of people in the UK won't take a coronavirus vaccine if it comes out. So I guess there's going to be more space.
Exactly. Yeah, so when you're laughing at the Americans that I just made fun of without the mask, think about the Brits that aren't going to do vaccines. Yeah, I mean, well, with the Brazilian guy, I mean, the thing is, Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend has tested positive for COVID. So we're getting into 6 degrees of separation here. So getting close. Getting close to Donald.
Although Bolsonaro says he'll be fine because he's an athlete, or he used to be an athlete, and he's still staying fit. So it'd be interesting if Donald Trump cashes it to see if he's athletic. He has the same body mass index as an athlete, if one were to consider sumo to be athleticism. So we'll see. Interesting.
We'll see what happens there. Yes, well, and thank you very much for those of you who've dropped a drink in the old joke pit there. So if you'd like to do that as well and contribute to keeping us alive and fit, as it were, we very much appreciate your donations, and thank you for throwing them our way.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, the link's below. And speaking of getting a drink, that's what happened on the weekend. We promised we'd talk about this. The latest update is that 3 pubs have already closed after positive tests because on the weekend happened, people were like, "Oh, yeah, let's go and get a bivvy." And then it started to spread the coronavirus already. I mean, look, I don't know how many people went to pubs on the weekend. I don't know how many people ordered a Corona and thought it was hilarious. Probably quite a lot.
Oh God, I bet that happened a lot.
Probably, yeah. Imagine the bar stuff. Yeah, great. But these are a picture of some of the scenes from Saturday. Oh, look at that! It's in Soho in London, and that is terrifying. It looks like the headline should have been "Government downgrades how long a meter is." If they're meant to be staying far apart, that's terrible. And I think the problem is it comes down to our relationship with alcohol. We should have seen this coming all along, because it's like a large version of what we've been practicing for with Dry January. Every year, 1 month, people think, oh, I'm not going to drink. Well, I'm going to mainly fail, but try to not drink for a month. And at the end of that month, what happens? First weekend in February, people go out and get absolutely trolleyed. And no one ever does this with any other like sobriety-based month. If you've made your way through for January, no one gets to the end of it and just like has an Atkins diet, and we see pictures in the Daily Mail of people with meat sweats. When people get to the end of Stoptober, they don't go, hey, let's celebrate and get through all of those ones I got from duty free. Why do we bounce back to alcohol so strongly? And I think it was always going to happen. And it's strange because Saturday wasn't just the opening of the pubs. There were other things that opened. Hairdressers, for example. And yet we didn't see groups that looked like that stood outside hairdressers getting absolutely trolleyed, trying to drink whatever fluid that is that they put the combs in.
Oh, yeah.
Just have an absolutely bizarre attitude to it. And many people say, look, there's a conspiracy theory. The government wanted us to go too far. Because now, when there is a second spike, the government will be able to say, well, you know, we tried to tell you not to go too crazy, but look at what people did, and now it's not our fault. This is very worrying indeed. But as we learned from the first headline, that if someone's actually tested positive for it, there's a consequence. If you go to a pub and then you get a phone call from Track and Trace saying that someone there has tested positive for it, you've got to take 2 weeks off work, which actually means you're risking a fortnight of not getting paid for the sake of sinking a few pints. Of course, it also means that if anyone in this crowd tested positive for coronavirus, they will all have to stay home for a fortnight, which means for the next 2 weeks, we can go out and have a drink without them dickheads. Who's coming down the pub on Saturday?
I'll be there without my mask on.
Have you thought about it yet? Have you thought about tempting and going for a booze?
No, I haven't been tempted to go to the pub yet. I'm waiting until I'm forced to go for work reasons. So far the gigs haven't started yet. So then I'll go.
I don't drink when I do gigs because I'm driving, but I it's work for us. So what was the headline? It's become crystal clear that that drunks don't socially distance.
Yeah.
How is any of this a surprise? This would have been so obvious. Because at the end of the night, people are hugging, going like, "I love you," people you've never met before. No one is standing 2 meters away doing that.
Yeah, I find when I drink, I'm very responsible and always follow all rules and guidance, and
the speed limit.
Yeah, exactly.
Sal says, riddle me this. Why hasn't Bristol had a spike in after the mass let's dump the statues in the river riots? I suppose there were people getting together.
Yeah.
One argument for that would be people on the protest tend to be younger and therefore less likely to catch it, or rather, if you do catch it, less likely to be counted because you don't go to hospital.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also, if you notice the statue, Steve, when it fell into the roof of there, it had a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it wasn't breathing. That's very true. Eamon says, does the absence of masks amongst Trump supporters just remove the bigger problem down the line? Yeah, I could do it. And Chris says, electric toothbrush and a thermos flask. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think that was back to...
It's your vibrator joke.
Yeah. A thermos. I've got... Right here.
Is that...
Always prepared.
Have you got your batteries in it? Wow. No wonder you look happy during the Tuesday shows these days.
Yum. Coffee. Pure coffee.
All right. We can keep the messages coming through. We've got some more coming through about the A1. We'll circle back and cover the sex shops on there. But before we do, if you're enjoying the show enough that afterwards you'd buy us a drink, the link's down the bottom or below in some of the text.
Yes.
Buy us a pint. It would be very much appreciated.
Yep.
Right.
I can't see who yet, but a couple have come through, so thank you very much for that. Keep it coming. We have dreams that want to be made real. So, another story from the U.S. Trump this week once again spent the weekend tweeting and then digging himself out of those tweets or sending his poor staff to try and defend him for it. Now, this week, Trump went on, he did a number of things. He was speaking at the 4th of July rallies and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to unpack here. But the thing that was still making news this morning was the fact that he sent a tweet out essentially defending the Confederate flag. Now, the reason he was doing that was because he's trying to deflect from the fact that Russia's put a bounty out on Americans in Afghan, and he's done nothing about that. So it's much easier to tweet about stuff that is like, it's like Squirrel in the movie Up. It's like, whoa, what's he said? So this was the headline that came out about it, that basically he's attacking NASCAR because NASCAR has finally banned flying the Confederate flag at its races. And Trump's claimed it hurts their TV ratings. Now, the question is, why are people still flying the Confederate flag, Steve? And there's a simple reason for that. It's the flag of the South, the Civil War, the slave-owning states, and they're flying the Confederate flag because they're racist. So then you think, well, why has it taken NASCAR so long to ban this flag? And it's because racists watch NASCAR. It's very simple. Good
logic, yeah.
Yeah, good logic. Have you ever watched it?
NASCAR, no.
No, that's the right answer, because otherwise...
I'd be racist.
You'd be racist.
I can see how the logic works.
See how I was setting you up for that there. So that's how you find them, folks. Just ask if they watch NASCAR. Now, so Trump had attacked them for taking the flag down. You think that's an odd thing for the president of the United States to defend the Confederate flag. So that left his press secretary trying to clean up the mess. And here she is.
Why is the president so supportive of flying the Confederate flag?
At the very end, the ban on the flag was mentioned in the broader context of the fact that he rejects this notion that somehow NASCAR men and women who go to these sporting events are racist.
Does he think NASCAR made a mistake by banning the Confederate flag?
So he said I spoke to him this morning about this, and he said he was not making a judgment one way or the other.
He's not like making a judgment. It's just like the broader context. And like, some people like to fly a flag and some people see colors on a flag and they just think it's a pretty cloth and they don't know what it's for or what it means, but they just think it's nice. And I mean, please I hate myself and stop asking me these questions. I just want to be here long enough to be able to write a book and say what a awful person he was. Now, the thing is, you think it's clearly a racist symbol. I mean, even the state of Mississippi has voted to take it off its flag. Mississippi, as in Mississippi burning, as in Mississippi. They voted this week to take the Confederate symbol off of their state flag. Why was it still on their state flag? Anyway, things are changing, right? But you think, why is Trump affiliating himself with these not racist symbols? I mean, and then you go, oh yeah, because this is Trump when he was running for president in the first place, where he asked people basically to pledge their allegiance to him by raising up their right hands and pledging their support. So, okay, never mind. I see what he's doing there.
Yeah.
He's been doing it all along.
He's building up a theme.
Yeah.
Delightful. Wow.
Delightful.
Do you know,
That's my guy.
On that, on the mic, UK says, are Trump supporters still loyal even now? I think from what we're hearing, they are, aren't they? It's not...
Yeah, they have drunk the Kool-Aid. They have swam in the liquid sewer swamp. I mean, yeah, they're still loyal. That 30%, they believe everything he says.
Wow, it's true. Mark says, didn't the Confederates lose? You'd imagine that would have been the thing, wasn't it? If you want to keep your flag, you have to win a war.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's part of it. It is amazing.
Yeah. Although Chris says, when you were holding up that thermos flask that might also be a sex toy, he says that's the talent if it fits. And Ellie says, hola, not sure why Spanish. It just felt right tonight. Interesting, because we were talking Portuguese earlier. So interesting stuff. Also, yeah, sorry, I've got another one in there. Sorry. Oh. No, that's the problem. These, I mean, they do add to the natural straightening of it.
Do you find those a few days later?
That's always the way. That's the problem with this.
Now, when you didn't have 4 pounds, 5 pounds before, have you checked? Have you felt around? See?
That's behind the ear. That's where you get that
from. Yeah, but I mean, if you are speaking Spanish to us, Ellie, that we do accept euros or dollars. So when you buy us a drink,
yeah,
we don't discriminate.
The link's down the bottom. Is that Freddy Krueger dress up outfit in the corner of Eric's room? Oh, is the hat in the background?
That is a hat. Yeah, it's a cowboy hat I wore in a show in 2006. Remember Brokeback Britain?
Yeah.
That was back in the day. And then that's a stuffed frog.
You don't throw a lot of stuff out, do you?
I don't. No, I save everything.
Okay. Keep the comments coming, and if you've enjoyed the show in any way, buy us a drink in any denomination down the bottom. Only the current ones. Go for a Italian lira or whatever. We might struggle. Right, but I want to stick with some of the stuff happening in your home nation, though, because for ages there is a long-running feature on this show where Eric finds something that Piers Morgan has said that is difficult to disagree with, and we all get upset because no one wants to have to agree with him. Eric, good news. I've found something you can disagree with Piers Morgan about.
Yes.
He says that Kanye West should not be standing for the US presidency.
What?
No, mate. This is the best thing that's happened in American politics for ages. He says that Kanye is deluded and narcissistic. But this is the thing. For Trump, this is bad news because Kanye standing could really split that deluded and narcissistic vote.
Yeah.
The kind of people who would ordinarily vote for Trump might think, I don't know any of his policies, but he's famous, so I'll vote for him. And that's probably quite a big slice of the Trump vote. I think, surprisingly, there's a lot of these two guys have in common. They're more famous than anything else. They're known for their politics. They both probably overuse the N-word.
Yep.
They both are with a woman who's done some modelling.
Yeah.
You know that Kanye says of his ladies that he ain't saying that she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke to broke. Although we all know that's not the version of that song that Trump sings alongs to at home. But so they've got a lot in common, and I just wonder, this could possibly be the most exciting thing to happen in the world of American politics. So to find out more, we're joined now by Kanye West. Thank you very much for being with us. We just got some questions we want to run past you.
Go ahead.
Okay, we will go ahead. Thank you. Let's start talking policies. Do you have any policies? For example, what do you think about education?
It's for kids.
It's education is for kids. It's a good start. I mean, we'll take that. Also, do you have any campaign slogans yet?
18 years.
You might struggle. I think you're on a 2-term maximum thing, but do you know what? You wouldn't be the first presidential candidate who doesn't mind lying about numbers to the American people. Who told you it would be a good idea to actually have a go at being president?
My psychic.
Your psychic. You paid someone to tell you to be president. She must have seen you coming.
Have you seen her?
No, I haven't seen her to talk about it. It's just a joke about her being a psychic. Look, basically what we're dealing with is you're not really a politician. You're standing as an independent, so you don't stand a chance. You're not a politician, you're a celebrity, so you don't stand a chance. All of this is nothing other than something that puts you in the news and is all about putting focus on you rather than the American people.
I don't care what none of y'all say.
Do you know what? If you don't care what other people say, you might be pretty good at being the American president after all. Thank you very much for joining us. Kanye West. Yes, Kanye. Who'd have thought we'd get him on the show?
That is a good booking, Steve. I'm really impressed with that.
Yeah. I mean, now you can see why that one might have been rushed, because I spent 3 hours making myself look like an older scientist earlier in the show.
I wasn't going to say anything. Maybe next time, maybe instead of making a scientist, you could make Kanye.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? There's a version of the script earlier where it was going to be me interviewing Donald Trump, and then I realised the jokes worked better the other way around, and then thought, I can't do the Kanye voice. So, binned all of that.
Nope, I could do it. It's no problem because we're both Americans. So, all Americans are the same.
On the mic says, Steve must know this musical oeuvre very well for this bit. That was all one song. That's all I did, is Google the lyrics. It's all from the same song.
That's better. That's better than I could. I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
not a big fan of that song. Come on, it's a classic.
It's a classic song. I've heard it, but you know how I am with pop music, Steve. I can't. I mean, my first concert was John Denver, and I've kind of plateaued at that level. That's why I still got the cowboy hat.
I don't think John Denver's going to be president, but yeah, it would be amazing if Kanye gets to be president. It would really show the American dream, because from what I've not done extensive research, but I believe that Kanye might have been a college dropout, and that is also the extent of my knowledge of his musical oeuvre.
Well, if we learned anything from Donald Trump's niece today in the headlines, is that Donald Trump had paid someone else to take his university exams. Wow. So there you go. He might be a dropout as well, and he's president. Yeah. So there we go. There we go.
So I go through some of the messages. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got loads to try and get through. This is I've noticed on Twitch people hire someone to go through their messages for us.
Oh well, but we definitely need you to buy some more drinks if you want. If you want us to get to your messages faster, give us some more money.
In terms of speaking Spanish, Mark says "Siata Bifa." Thank you.
Okay.
Chris says, I thought it was a Harry Potter sorting hat in the background.
Nice. Nice. Remember when I used to do my jokes about looking like Harry Potter?
Yeah. Do you remember when you used to look a bit like Harry Potter? God.
Thanks.
Do you know what? If you want to feel depressed about age, not only did I get a comment earlier on because I tweeted about the beard and someone said it makes you look old, but also to find the picture of the card that Pret genuinely sent to me, because I took a picture of it back then. I had to go through loads of old pictures from like 3 phones ago, and it was me with a face that was just relatively thin, and oh god, I mean, way more hair and just like structure.
I know. God. I know. Those were the days.
So if you'd like to buy us money for fillers and transplants, and I've already had the eyes done, but I'll get everything else done. The link's down the bottom. You can follow it there or find it in the text below.
Cool.
We're already running over, but what we've got to talk about?
We got one more. Well, I mean, the one thing that kind of leads into us having to beg you guys for drinks is the whole issue of arts funding in the UK. Because even though I've got this American twang, I'm all British now, mate. Oh, God, I shouldn't have done that accent. But I'm in, and I'm here, and I'm here for good. And it's been a big question over the weekend. You saw people were tweeting, #SaveTheArts. And the government announced an initiative to help the arts. But that really wasn't the main initiative that was the news this morning. It was this one here that it looks like they're going to give $2 billion for home insulation.
Okay.
That's a big amount of money. And then what did they announce before that? What they were going to give to the arts, Steve? They were going to give, I think we've got that headline there, $1.5 billion lifeline to struggling arts.
Wow.
So hashtag save the arts, hashtag I'm getting me some insulation.
Yeah, like your loft.
I mean, my God, insulation is more important to British culture and British life than what we do. That's what that message is, Steve.
We could help out there. Maybe we should just start doing gigs in people's lofts.
There you go. There we go. Yeah. Well, yeah, we could do that. Remember the one in Farncombe in the Comedy Cavern? That was an upstairs cavern, which is a weird name. Yeah. But that was like a loft gig. We could do that.
And that way, when we can say, like, we'll really raise the rafters, we actually could, because we'll be stood on them. And we can just try and see if we can pull them up. Maybe they'll move a little bit.
And when you install insulation, it's got all those fibers, so you want to be wearing PPE anyway, because otherwise you want to breathe that stuff in. So, yeah, if we could combine the things. Or, I mean, maybe there's just, you're going to need people to sell the insulation. Maybe that's where we can break through, is we can be, hi, I'm here to explain to you why you need insulation. My name is Eric, and I used to be a comedian, but now I will come by your house and make you laugh while I make you feel warm.
Do you know, I was thinking we just do the gigs in the loft and then just try and like use our own body heat. But you're right, we actually could just put fiberglass insulation down at the same time.
Yeah.
And basically we'd just be workmen. We'd be making inappropriate jokes whilst doing some work around the house. Okay.
I think since there's $2 billion in that and 1.5 in the arts.
Oh, by the way, of all the jokes and puns we've just tried to come up with, they've all been knocked into a cocked hat by Sharon, who says, lofty ambitions.
Oh.
Why did we not think of that? That's brilliant.
Buy yourself a coffee, Sharon. Buy yourself a drink.
We were trying to think of all the puns there, weren't we? Rafters. I was thinking in my head, attic. What am I going to do with that? I got nothing going on with that. Lofty ambitions. Nailed it.
Insulation. How do they have a better lobby than we do?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So that 1.5 billion for arts isn't for stand-up comedy. It's for galleries and stuff like that. So same deal. Maybe if we want to make money, and we're going to need to because things are pretty tight for us, we're going to have to start doing gigs in galleries.
Yeah.
The eerie silence, often punctuated by the sound of footsteps. And then we'll have to do that in a gallery.
Hey! So you go back to the beginning of the show and you can see how he talks about jokes that he likes to set up like that.
Jeremy says, I knew your careers were lagging. Oh, why is everyone doing better than us today?
Oh, dear. It's because we saw those headlines and we're depressed. But, yeah, I'm sure there's hope. I mean, it's not like all that money's going to go to insulating venues that no one's allowed to perform in.
It will be, won't it? Mark says, guys, you could try a rafter new jokes. Rafter new jokes.
Rafter new jokes.
Yeah.
All right, that one's stretching it, Mark. I'm sorry. The bar was set by Sharon, and then everything else went downhill from there.
Although I missed a pun earlier on. Keith gets in touch and says, when I did Pret a Minga, he said, Pret a Monja. Fair enough. I could have just put rude words in Pret.
Next time, guys, we'll post what we're thinking about. You just send us the jokes.
Yeah, because I'm going to be spending at least 2 hours making myself look like a scientist or a pixie or whatever else special effects is going to be required. So there will be gaps in the show that need some filling.
But we are getting to the end of thank you again. I haven't had a chance to say the names of people who sent us a drink, but we appreciate that. The other thing we'll ask that you do, if you're enjoying the show, please share it. You can share it on Facebook. It stays up here on the whatever pages you're watching it on. We've got a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and share that as well. The shows stay up there. Steve and I both put up little clips of the show throughout the week too. So please tell people about it. We really appreciate that and love people watching, and we just love to share it further. And we'll be back on Thursday at 9 o'clock live in the UK, and then or whatever time it is wherever you are.
Yeah, and then keep the messages coming through. If you're following on social media, I'm thinking by Thursday there might have to be some sort of a trim. I don't know if it's going to be the biker look or the I'm thinking the spaghetti western bandit that just leaves this in.
Oh, yeah. I know whenever I've had my beard, the best part is the process of shaving it in chunks. And then you get to the stage where you got the porn star, and then you go to the level where you're giving yourself the little...
Charlie Chaplin. I'm calling that the Chaplin.
The Charlie Chaplin. That's what it is. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, good. So I might do. I mean, could you imagine if I actually end up doing the Chaplain? Whichever episode that happens on, it'll be the one that you should watch live because it will get taken down off Facebook and YouTube. Definitely. So much.
That'll be our swan song when this is all over.
Brilliant. Right, pop it in your diary, spread the links and all that stuff. Thank you very much for the messages. The handlebar is another suggestion. We'll see what we can do. Keep watching the shows and we'll see what happens. Till Thursday at 9 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.